There may be 300 serial killers across the country. Here in Seattle, King County, we've got the biggest case in America. He's killed at least 48 teenage girls that we know of.
Mr. Ridgway, how do you plead to the charge of aggravated murder in the first degree as charged in count 1 for the death of Wendy Lee Caulfield?
Guilty.
How do you plead to the charge of aggravated murder in the first degree as charged in count 2?
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in SeaTac, Washington. You can hear the planes above me. The airport, SeaTac, not too far from here. It's a suburb of Seattle, and very loud there with a little highway right here, another one right over there, and the airport. And a lot of neighbors out doing caring for the lawn. Very green, very lush here in Seattle. Beautiful. This street I'm on has a very, very dark history. There's a house on this street I'm going to take you to. I'm going to show you. And the house belonged to Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. I've been trying to make this video for 6 years now. And I'm finally doing it. It's 2025. Well, I brought backup. Someone who is going to help me with this video. This is my friend Aaron from Aaron's Nerd Stuff on Instagram. And you may have seen her on my channel before already. So Aaron and I have been researching a lot about the Green River Killer. We're going to take you to a few locations having to do with Gary Ridgway. 49 convictions for murder. Suspected of at least 90 murders. One of the most prolific serial killers. Who did he mostly kill?
Sex workers.
Sex workers. We're going to go to where he picked up a lot of them in his car, but in his house. Right?
Yeah.
So he was married 3 times.
Yes.
Tell me about his 3 wives, because you know a little bit about his relationship with them.
The first one was his high school sweetheart, and he married her right out of high school. And he joined the Navy, and then after the Navy, when he came home, she had already decently moved out, and so they broke up. And he moved to Washington, to this area. He tried to make it work one last time, and it didn't. So they broke up for good. And then he was single for a while, and then he met his second wife. And they got married, and then he really loved his second wife, and it didn't work out. His third wife, he apparently really loved, and that's when a lot of the killings stopped.
Right. That's when they... So... It's hard to believe that a serial killer can have that kind of love for someone else, because he was so cruel and callous. But yeah, he apparently after, just from around 1980, where was the first body discovered? 1980, 1982, and around 87. Is that when he stopped, or do they know?
I think 88. It was the last.
88. But 90 of the 90 women, and there's also suspicions, and he said that he probably killed before. He doesn't remember a lot of his kills, right?
No. He said that he claims to have killed even in the 70s, but the first confirmed was Sigidiji.
A lot of the murders, he killed them either in his car or in this house right over here. And then we're going to take you to another location, but let's go take a look at Gary Ridgway's house, which is still standing. Now, when they sold this house, they didn't have to disclose. In Washington State, I believe at the time, they didn't have to disclose that a crime had occurred here. But there was a special circumstance for this one because it had torn apart the house, floorboards, walls, dug up the backyard, and it was an ongoing investigation. So when they sold the house to whoever bought it, I don't know if it's the same owner now, they had to say, your house might be searched again. And by the way, this occurred in the house. And apparently they got the house at a very good price.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Okay, let's go take a look at it. So here we are, Aaron. We've left Gary's house. We're at the Green River Trail. Now, let's walk along. So this is a little trail bridge, but the Meeker Street Bridge right there, this is the location of the first 5 victims. This is how he got the name Green River Killer, correct?
Right. The first victim was Wendy Caulfield, and she was actually found under the bridge. The other victims floated this way, and they found the second victim down probably about a quarter of a mile from here.
Right.
She had floated and washed up on the shore next to the slaughterhouse. And then the third set of victims was found in between the two, and they were probably about, I don't know, just around this bend.
Right, let's take a look. And you want to clarify, because we said the killing stopped around 87, but it's 91.
91, yeah, that we know of.
Yeah,
and like I said, he could have been killing in the 70s. It's whatever is substantiated.
Right.
And I think the ones that he was actually convicted of stopped at 80.
He admitted to more, but he didn't admit to everything, and some things he kept to himself.
He couldn't remember because
right.
Just the volume. There's so many.
He tried to help, quote unquote, the investigators, but really, how much did he help? But yeah, there's lots of news footage you can find online where there's one victim, like you said, that was right around on this side, right? And then 3, or is it?
Further down, there were 2 that were found together, and they were weighed down by rocks. And then close to those 2, there was one that had washed up on the shore. And so those were the third set of victims that were found.
Right. Yeah, because there's footage of them the investigators going down a hill. Yes. I believe it's like one of these right here as it twists around. Now this is private property now here. This is the golf course. You are not allowed onto that golf course. Well, maybe that road you can actually, but it's down here. But this bridge here, so directly underneath is where her name was Wendy, right? Wendy Caulfield, yeah. Wendy Caulfield, 16 years old, foster home, and so there's a piling, which was a structure in the water, right?
Yes, she was caught on the piling, and that's why they found her directly under the bridge. 2 kids were riding their bikes over the bridge, and they saw something white in the water, and they wanted to investigate to see what it was. So they came down to the water, and they realized it was a body, and they called police.
She was nude but strangled with her own clothes, correct?
Yeah. She was still wearing her shoes,
right.
Her socks, but all of her clothes were tied around her neck.
But this is how he got the nickname Green River Killer. But you can see, 40 years ago, this would be a lot. I mean, that's new. Golf course was in here. It was a pretty desolate area. I don't even think this bridge would have been here, because this is basically just for the trail, but for the golfers to get to the next hole. So I don't even think this bridge was here. So he had to type it for victims: sex workers, runaways.
Yeah, vulnerable.
Is there any other type he had? Like any other? So not just sex workers.
It was probably also hitchhikers.
Hitchhikers.
I mean, it was victims of opportunity. He would gain their trust. He had a truck, and when hitchhikers or sex workers would get into the truck, he would have a picture of his son out with like toys in the truck, so they knew he was a father, and so they trusted him.
And was it really his son, the photo?
Yep.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
He had a son with his second wife.
What a horrible, using his son like that. Oh. Here we are under the bridge. Watch that, that's prickly there. So Aaron, most of his method of killing them was strangulation.
Yeah, he liked to come up from behind the women, and he would strangle them. And
Yes, I mean, not to be too graphic, but from what I understand, for the most part, when he sexually assaulted them, it was, well, you would be paying them to have sex, right? You would have sex with them from behind, and then put his arm around their neck, pull on his other arm, strangle them. But sometimes he strangled them with other, cords, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever he had available, clothing.
Yeah. So Wendy, when she was strangled with her own clothing, she was on the ground, and Gary actually, I think he put his knee or stepped on her arm and broke it while he was trying to strangle her.
Going now to where the 5th victim was found. We're going to take a drive over there, because I can't really go much further, but this is the Green River. And you and I have talked about this for knowing each other a year or so now, but we talked a lot about coming here. It's very surreal, is it not?
It is.
To actually be, just to see the Green River itself, but to know this is where the first victim was found, right here, and then 3 more down there. And then he said like deserted areas, wooded areas. He just kind of dumped the bodies without a care almost.
And after a while, he was trying to throw police off, and so he would switch it up by driving all the way to Oregon to dump some of the body parts so they wouldn't be connected to him.
And actually, while we're here, we were just talking in the car about Wendy. There's spray paint on some of her clothing.
Right. He worked at a truck manufacturing.
Yeah, some sort of Kent Trucking.
Like
yeah, we're gonna go there, so we'll find out.
Right. And so he did deal with the paint. They had so many chances to catch him earlier. He was on their radar. He was a suspect early on.
Right. Because he drove the same truck. It was a red pickup he drove. And a lot of people knew not to get, like sex workers, not to get in the red pickup, right? Am I right?
Yeah, it was reported. A couple of different people saw a maroon pickup.
And they said, don't get in it.
Right.
And the maroon and the pickup is what led to him being captured, of course. We'll get to that. So here we are, Frager Road. So there was a slaughterhouse right on the other side of that bridge, right, Aaron? Yeah. Right on the other side. The Green River is to our right here. But the last victim, so the slaughterhouse is gone now, but the road is closed on either side. We cannot get to it. Deborah Bonner was her name?
Yeah, and so she was the second victim found, and she was a sex worker, and that day she had left a hotel room to turn some more tricks, I guess, and was never seen again. And a week later, they found her body.
So a slaughterhouse worker found her on the embankment.
Right.
And we can't even really get through it, but the river is right there. You can see the separation of the trees, bushes, the other river's right down there. There's another bridge that's not obviously the same bridge we were at. But right where that car is going by right now, slaughterhouse is on the other side. Can't really get there because the road closed, but there's no building there anymore anyway. It's just an undeveloped property so far. But it was actually a nice little drive around the area. It's a beautiful part of Washington. So he picked up the victims in a certain area. A lot of them, correct?
Yeah. Pacific Highway South was where he picked most of them up, and he did pick up Deborah that day.
That's where you picked her up?
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Okay.
So Aaron, we're not going to talk about the hotel yet, but let's get to it in a moment. But we're on basically what was called the Strip.
Yes.
And this is where he picked up a lot of his victims.
Most of his victims.
Most. It's probably changed a lot since back then. But there are still some old motels. Let's walk up a bit. You see straight ahead by that 7-Eleven sign. It says New West Motel. But this is where he would drive back and forth, right? And I imagine it's like back in the 80s, a lot of the sex workers were right on the street.
Yep.
And just...
And certain motels.
Right. So here we are, there's that 7-Eleven there. Right here is the Westview Motel. It was called, back in the day,
It's the
Three Bears.
Three Bears
Motel.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like it's changed much since
I don't think so at all. Let's walk up. So his second documented victim, we're not sure if...
This was the second, that was second found.
Second found.
Yes.
Right here. But she was either working out of or living here. She had a house in Tacoma, or with her parents. Was it her parents' place in Tacoma, I'm guessing?
No, she did have a place in Tacoma, but she was last seen leaving this motel, and she was going to find more work.
Right.
So I think she was operating out of this.
Right. So you and I speculated ourselves that he possibly could have killed her in this motel, or in his car, or at his home. It never really said where but she probably was working out of here.
Yeah.
Now, let's walk through here. This is the motel here. Little quieter, but so we're looking at a decade-long spree, roughly. But he was caught.
Yes.
He was caught, like most serial killers, because, well, he's sloppy, right? I mean...
Yeah, it was also, like, he didn't realize what DNA would become.
Right.
And so he left DNA on a lot of his victims.
He did. He did. But the last... So, he picked up a sex worker. Her boyfriend, we were talking about this term. Her boyfriend and pimp, same person. That doesn't make any sense to me. You know, that you call someone a boyfriend and a pimp. Followed them, right?
Yeah, he saw that they were fighting. That it wasn't just a regular customer, because there was some kind of like an argument.
Right.
And so she looked stressed out. So he started following them, and he ended up losing Ridgeway. And he went to the girl's father,
right,
and said, I saw this is what happened. And so the father said, well, we're gonna drive around until we find this maroon truck. And they found it.
Right.
And so they alerted police went to the house, they questioned Ridgeway. He ended up passing a polygraph.
Right.
And so they let him go.
But
he was.
But did they find her body?
They did find her body.
So he did kill her.
He
the
did.
boyfriend the boyfriend pimp was following her, and then so she ended up losing her life. But it wasn't until 2001, right? That was when he was caught.
Yeah. Well, so he had given DNA in 1987.
Right.
And when the technology finally caught up, they tested the DNA from some of the victims, and it was a match. And so that's when he was arrested.
Yeah. Did he confess right away?
I believe he did, actually.
And you can't remember half like so many of his victims?
No.
Yeah.
No, and they said they said that they wanted to go for the death penalty, and so Ridgway struck a deal in order to avoid the death penalty. He gave detectives information. He led them to bodies, and he let them know exactly which ones he could remember murdering, and he confessed to up to 90.
So he's never getting out. He's 76 years old, and he's in prison here in Washington State. But this motel, definitely has not changed. Has not had much upgrades since. But all around, I mean, these houses would not have been here back then. But even this old wooden fence, you know? And now it's perfectly quiet. It's been loud everywhere we've been. You know, now it's... All right, I think I'd like to go see where he got arrested. Let's do that. All right, here we are in Renton, Washington, but this is an industrial area. Aaron, look right across the street there. What do we have here?
So this is Kenworth Trucking Company, and Gary Ridgway worked here, and this is where he was arrested.
Right. Let's go across. Oh, let's wait for the cars. But he worked here for a very, very long time.
He did. He actually, like right out of high school, got a job here, and when he moved, he stopped working here, but when he moved back, he
came back to work.
Yeah.
Said it provided a sense of normalcy for him. Because obviously, although he seemed very cool and calm and collected at all times, I mean, there's got to be a chaotic aspect to your life when you're doing what he's doing.
For sure.
So this provided a sense of normalcy for him.
This is part of his undoing as well. He painted.
Spray painted.
Right. Trucks, and some of the victims were found with paint that matched the paint that he used here.
His first victim, Wendy, she had the spray paint.
First victim found and convicted.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, but others had spray paint on them too as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, wow. So this is where he worked. But not only did he work here, police showed up one day and asked to speak to Gary Ridgway at this location, and this is where he was arrested. Taken to court, obviously down the road, convicted, like we talked about. He did go on, there's video of him going to, video or pictures? I've seen pictures.
I've seen pictures. I don't know about video.
Of him going along with the police.
Right. And also, he had been on police radar multiple times. And one of the times they searched his house, they searched his locker at work, and found nothing.
Wow. Yeah, because like I was saying before, they dug up the back of the house, the backyard. He didn't keep trophies, did he?
No. I mean, not that they found. Which is such a serial killer thing to do, to keep trophies and to keep things that belong to the victim. Doesn't seem like, you know, they searched his house, didn't find much, and here. We're going to take a little drive outside of Seattle. We're going to go down to Tacoma and visit a few victims. First one is Tacoma, and who are we visiting first? We're going to visit Deborah Bonner, who was the second victim found. And we're also going to visit Carol Christensen. And she's a little bit different because Gary felt that he actually had a relationship with her. He was a frequent customer and had fallen in love with her. So.
And I should say before, we're going to, Deborah was the one that we just were at with the, behind the slaughterhouse on the banks of the Green River. So we're going to go visit her grave first. And like I always like to say, with this many victims, very difficult to visit every grave. Kind of, I let you choose these ones. But for when I do it, the same way I kind of choose at random. You've chosen, I think, 2. And we would love to visit every single one. We would love to, but unfortunately it's not possible. But maybe down the road we'll be able to visit some more in a different video. Okay, let's go. Here we are at Mountain View Cemetery, and we're looking for Deborah Bonner. She should be buried beside her parents. So somewhere, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's I think down here. So find a grave. See where the blue car there is. Find a grave takes you right to there for Deborah, but we're in the right garden, so we're just kind of looking around. The pin's a little off, but we'll find her. And here we are. So her parents right here, Walter B. and Shirley E. Walter died in 1987. Shirley in 2014, and I'm sure it's 5 years after his daughter died. That's 5 years of heartbreak. Yeah. And here's Deborah Lynn. So just to reiterate, this is one of the first 5 found, and she was the one behind the slaughterhouse, found by the slaughterhouse worker.
Right.
So Aaron, we are going to another grave, but there is a victim buried near where you live in Sacramento. We're going to cut to some footage. You're going to get that in a couple of days, and you'll tell us about her while you're there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then from there, you will cut to us going to another victim's grave to end the video. But right now, we're going to Sacramento. Okay.
Hi, it's Erin again. I'm no longer in Washington. I'm in Sacramento, California. That's where I live. When I was researching the story of the Green River Killer, I really connected with one of the victims, and I think it was her picture, something about Marcia Chapman's eyes in the picture that I first saw of her. And then knowing that she had 3 small children that she left when she was taken from this world. And strangely enough, I discovered that she is buried in Sacramento, where I'm from. And her grandparents lived here, and I believe that's why she's here instead of in Washington. But she did leave behind 3 small children. The oldest at the time was 11. His name's Kevin. And unfortunately, Kevin became a victim of homicide as well. And he's at the same cemetery as his mother. When I first came to this cemetery, I discovered that Marcia did not have a marker, a gravestone. And I was able to find the spot that she's buried in. And I asked the people in the office, they're really nice, and I asked them, as somebody who isn't related to the person in the cemetery, am I able to donate a stone or raise funds or something so she'll be able to have a marker? And they said that that I would have to get the permission of the next of kin. So that's something that I'm going to be working on. Who knows? I mean, there are various reasons why Marcia doesn't have a marker at this time, and I mean, if I'm able to help with that in any way, I would love to. So I'm here in Sacramento, and so I'm going to show you how to find Marcia's grave if you're ever here and you want to visit. The cemetery is pretty small. It's very pretty and peaceful, well kept. So the main entrance is right about in the middle, and when you enter, you're going to come down a little road, and there's the main office. And then there's a road to the side that also has an entrance. And if you come to this tree right here, and right in front of it, there's a grave for Carrie Coates, and to the left of it, where I've placed this little garden decoration, that's where Marcia is buried. I brought this, and I don't know how long it'll be here. There is a sign saying that they throw out any flowers or decorations weekly. So it's made of cement, but I don't know. Hopefully it'll stay here for a while, but that's where she is. And then I'm also going to show you where her son Kevin is buried. Sorry, I didn't mention that Marsha's grave is in section A2, and then her son Kevin is in the Good Shepherd section. And if you go a few rows to the left of the sign of the Good Shepherd section, you'll find Kevin Henderson. He was born in 1971. His mother died in 1982. And then Kevin was shot in a robbery gone bad. I don't know too much information on it, but it's so unfortunate. He was a handsome man and obviously very loved. So, and then the stone also mentions his mother, Marsha, so this is where he is. This case was so overwhelming. The number of victims and just the people involved, all the families and people whose lives were just ruined because of this one person. It's senseless. It's terrible. So yeah.
So here we are at Sunset Memorial Park in Hoquiam, Washington, which is just right beside Aberdeen, Washington. It is a holiday today. The cemetery's closed. There was no pin to her grave, but we went to the cemetery database and got kind of the section that we think it is the grave we're looking for, and we've got quite a story to tell you. But it's a lot of searching. You can see Aaron's down there looking that way. Got all this entire lawn in front of us to search. But we're going to find the grave of this young lady here. And we found Carol Holman Christensen. And again, no real exact reason for choosing certain graves for this video. We're trying to visit as many as we can. Maybe over the next year or so, we'll see. But this young lady had an interesting story, and I'm going to let Aaron tell you. So, who exactly was Carol Christensen, and in terms of Ridgeway?
So Carol, she was a mother of a 5-year-old daughter, and she was trying to turn her life around. She had recently separated from her husband, and she had a new boyfriend, and things were looking up. I mean, she was still needing to make money, and so she was a sex worker. Ridgeway was one of her regulars, and he kind of felt like he had a relationship with her.
Right.
He fell in love with her, and he later said that in the interviews. And so he would see her on a regular basis, but one day she said that she needed to hurry the appointment because she needed to meet up with her boyfriend. And Ridgeway got really upset with that, and he ended up killing her. And so Carol, her body was a little bit different.
Right.
There are different stories that... So before they caught him, the fact that she was found with 2 cleaned fish on her chest, and she had an empty wine bottle on her lap. She was posed, and she also had raw sausage in her hands.
Correct. And wasn't she dressed?
She was dressed.
And-
Everybody
right.
else they found, I mean, pretty much from what I understand, was nude when they found the bodies. Carol was dressed, but she was dressed incorrectly. Her bra was on backwards. It was very obvious that she was sexually assaulted and then redressed. And so she was posed, and at first when Gary Ridgway was caught, he said he was trying to throw off police by making it a little bit weirder.
Right.
She also had a bag over her head. And so later, from what I've read in certain reports, that the bag was so that it would protect her pretty face.
He said.
He said.
Right.
She was dressed because he didn't want people to see her nude body. And the empty wine bottle was because he loved her and he needed to basically have the courage to do this.
Be a little
and
drunk.
Be a little bit drunk to be able to pull all this off. And so he drank the wine and left the bottle with her. And then the raw meat on her, the fish and the sausage, I read that it was because he wanted her to be found quickly.
Right.
So maybe like somebody walking their dog, the dog
Right,
would
because
smell
she
it.
was discarded, and I use that term because that's how he said,
Right.
in a wooded area, but not too far, but kind of close to where people would be, right?
Could possibly find her, yeah.
Not the way he just discarded other bodies.
Yeah, he didn't just throw her like
Over
in the
right,
river
you're
or
right.
whatever. Yeah, she was different.
He wanted the food to attract
Right.
animals, like people walking there, like you said.
Right.
So she would be found. What a twisted.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
she had a beautiful daughter, and unfortunately, her daughter lost her mom.
Yeah. Daughter was 5 when it happened. Okay, so we have been to 2 graves, been to many locations. Maybe at some point we'll do part 2 with other locations that we can find, and then more graves is what we really would like to do. Visit some of his victims. I think we said this, but it's been a couple of days since we filmed the first part of this video. But it was only yesterday, actually. Feels like a lot longer, but we've been working on this for a while. He's serving a lot of life sentences. 49 was it? And he's 76, and he's never gotten out, and hope he's rotting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for watching Erin's Nerd Stuff. Find her on Instagram, and there'll be a link below. Thanks for watching, everybody, and rest in peace to all of Gary's victims.